It's week 12 of the golfing calendar. And what a week it's been. What a week. And there's two guys who are going to break it all down, kick it around, throw it up in the air, and maybe sit back with a Chardonnay. Now on the Talk Birdie to Me podcast, it's the Chardonnay sipping dynamic duo, Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen.
Are we going to have a bottle of wine next week?
Well, we might have maybe we'll have a peanut. You like the Chardonnay, so
see, people are going to worry about me because I'm doing one podcast called A Couple of Blokes and a Couple of Beers. And now you want to start drinking during this one as well. I'm a non-drinker. I want you to know that. I'm a social drinker only.
There's the biggest pile of shite I've ever heard.
Well, we do it in the evening, so it's fine. I mean, if we were doing it at lunchtime, I'd worry. But anyway.
Welcome to Talk Birdie to Me. Nick, good to see you. And we've got some great news because Gabi Ruffels, who we have had our fingers crossed for a long, long time, ever since she won one US Amateur, almost won 2 or 3 foot putt, cost her for winning back-to-back. But this is enormous, isn't it? I don't think people really understand the talent in this girl's little finger.
It's crazy how talented she is in multiple sports. At the age of 12, she was Australia's number one ranked junior tennis player. So that's not bad, is it? And you're thinking, well, okay, I'm number one in tennis. No, I'll switch to golf.
Yeah.
Obviously has the brother Ryan, who's a very famous name in Australian junior golf as well. Unfortunately, hasn't quite kicked on as yet. But Gabi, I tell you what, after, what did she win? The 2019 US Amateur. Had a nice stellar college career at
Stanford.
USC, I think it was.
I thought it was Stanford.
Oh, it could have been. I'll double check.
We'll look it up.
We'll look it up, yeah. That's one of the things. But what a win for her. And especially given the history for her of the LPGA Tour over the past year. Did you know what happened?
No.
No? You didn't know what happened? Okay, so last year she's played the Ep6 Tour, almost got her card, was like 15th going into the last event, top 10 get the card for the LPGA, missed out, was driving to the LPGA Q School, arrived there, and she's not on the registration list. Didn't enter.
Management didn't enter or she didn't enter?
Both did not enter. So, unfortunately,
what happened?
She didn't play, obviously.
How have I missed that bit of news?
It's unbelievable what happened.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it comes down to the player. However, management should be on top of that sort of thing as well. But it's just one of those little oversights, I guess you could say. So in the end, she went to Ladies European Tour qualifying school and got her card over there. But she's exempt on both tours, and obviously this win now gets her well underway to getting her LPGA card.
Two of my favourite things about Gabi Ruffels that not many people know. They filmed her playing her first round of golf ever, and the swing looked like it was a 4 handicapper or a 3 handicapper in her first ever round of golf.
Wow.
But my favourite, her first ever tournament as a 15-year-old, after only playing for a little bit, she shot 75 at Victoria Golf Club.
Are you kidding me?
I am not joking. I am not joking.
Wow.
So I remember hearing about that sort of stuff because we were following Ryan really closely at that stage.
Yes.
And then, Mum and Dad saying, yeah, Ryan's going pretty well, but look at this. And, there was a little bit of footage. Dad took it on the phone and just watching her hit, short irons. The swing, was almost perfect in her first ever round of golf.
Yeah, it's very solid.
Off the charts.
I played with her at the Cathedral Invitational before Christmas, recently, started December, and I'd heard about her game and everything. I'd never seen it up close in person, but my goodness, it was impressive. So I've kept an eye on her since, and it's just great to see her making very good strides.
Good on you, Gabi. We're watching, and we're hoping, our fingers are crossed. Now, David Micheluzzi wins in the New South Wales Open. Well done. And clinches the Order of Merit. Now, tell us what comes with the Order of Merit, Nick.
Well, first and foremost, gets you if you win the Order of Merit, it gets into the Open Championship, which is at Royal Liverpool this year.
That's right.
And then obviously the top 3 players on the Order of Merit get their DP World Tour cards for the 2023-24 season. So he's got that wrapped up right now. So has Brendan Jones, who's sitting in second place. However, Brendan needs to play one more event. He's only played 3 and you must play 4. So I'm assuming he's going to play the National.
We'll see at the National.
Exactly. The third spot's the big one. That's up for grabs. Right now, it's Tom Power-Horan, who sits in third place ahead of, I think it's Andrew Martin and Michael Hendry.
That's right.
And it's up to those three guys. Only one of those three can take the third spot.
Do they need a win at the National or just a good finish? We'll have to find out.
Well, there's various scenarios. One of those...
Well, win or get them to third of those three guys.
Out of those three, yeah. And then the others have to finish a certain place, etc., etc. But Micheluzzi, what a performance. I mean... Cade McBride leading by 3 going into the final round.
Yes.
And Dave Micheluzzi does what he does. He has that final round.
Yep.
I mean, remember the one he shot at
Sydney, TPS Sydney.
TPS Sydney, 10 under 61 to win there by 4. And what did he shoot over the weekend? It was something like 66, I think, or a 65, 6 under.
Yeah, 6 under. And what'd you make of the young fella's 18th hole? So he's 20 under par, tied with Micheluzzi. He hits a drive down the left and he can't even really lay up properly because of where the pin placement was. So it's a beautiful pin placement. So even if you hit it left, you've got to somehow hit a big hook, get on the left-hand side of the fairway so you can get some kind of angle. But he couldn't hook it enough either, could he?
No, exactly. The tee shot actually he ripped. It looked as though Cade McBride hit a beautiful drive, but he was 5 yards too far to the left. So Tom Power-Horan was on a similar line to him. He tried to get that left-hand angle, hook it around, but he hit it in the water. So after seeing that, he's thinking, okay, I got to make sure I stay right. But the mistake came on the wedge into the green. Because where that pin was, it was really... It's an amber, maybe it's a red light pin. You just don't go at it. And he took it on, unfortunately caught the bunker, and he couldn't get it up and down and ended up making double, which didn't make much of a difference. But again, Micheluzzi, the way he came home, he played the smart shot in on that 18th hole. As you saw him playing, he went long, 20 feet, and gave the birdie putt a good run. But he was sitting in the clubhouse when Cade was finishing.
Can I just say well done to New South Wales Golf New South Wales, for putting on a big tournament. I mean, it was $72,000 for first place. That's a big tournament for a smaller event, one that's not, hasn't got Australia in front of it. It's not the Australian Masters, not the Australian PGA, not the Australian Open. It's New South Wales Open. They got $400,000 up. I thought that was a mighty effort. Yeah. So well done to them.
Well, there's a lot of history to it. The Kelnagle Cup goes to the winner. So he's one of the legends of the game. Rich River Country Club or Golf Club, they did a fantastic job. It looked really good on television. And as you say, great stuff by Golf New South Wales.
Just so people know, we do bonus content every once in a while. We have tried to get in contact with David Micheluzzi. But something tells me he's got a headache. Something tells me he's not feeling so flash this afternoon.
So, and probably one of the reasons, this is one of the little statistics from it, is he's the first player to win 3 times in a season since Robert Allenby back in 2005.
That's big, isn't it? Yeah, that's really big.
Big for Australian golf.
Yeah, that's really big. Yeah, well done, Mika. Hopefully we can get you on a little bit of bonus and that will come out then when later in the week.
Well, if we can get him, we'll get out as soon as we can, yeah.
All right, so as soon as he sobers up, no.
He's not like you, Max.
I'm joking, David, if this gets back to you. And congratulations, magnificent. What about the Valspar? To me, the PGA Tour last month, excuse me. Geez, the drama's been fantastic. Great. It's been so good.
Yeah.
Taylor Moore wins this one. I think his best ever finish was an 11th. I think he's had 10 inside the top 25. It's his first season. Not much golf. But for him to shoot 4 under par the last 10 and knock off Spieth, and who was the other character?
It was Adam Schenk. How's that for a name for a golfer? Not Shank, but Schenk. I think his friends call him Shank, though.
Yeah, well, there's been a few like Jeff Maggott was my favourite, worst ever name. I think Jeff actually tried to call himself Jeff McGirt there for a little while, but everyone just called him Jeff Maggott. It just didn't work for him. But Schenk, he was half a chance.
Oh, he was playing great.
The bogey that Spieth made at one stage
on 16
was an incredible bogey. I happened to be in the car. Now, I've told you about this. If you get on the PGA Tour app and push video, if you're driving around, you push the audio button. So push video. Strangely enough, you'll see an audio button after you've done that. Push that. If you're taking the kids to school or driving to work and you don't want to miss the finish, PGA Tour radio is just sensational. And they had him talking through what he was going to do when he made the bogey. So the lie wasn't any good. You could hear him talking to his caddy, and I've forgotten the caddy's name just for a second. Grella. Anyway, so you're talking to him saying, no, I'm not going to hit a hybrid. It won't come out. I'm going to hit a 9-iron. I just need to get in position, and then I'm going to get up and down for a wedge with my wedge and make my bogey.
Yep.
And that's exactly what he did. It was just brilliant to listen to, but even better sitting in the car when he executed.
Well, that's what world-class players do. And it was the first leg of what they call the snake pit there. Have you been to this golf course?
Never
I've played this
there.
tournament several times.
So is it 15, 16, 17, 18, or is it just
16 through 18?
16
so 16
through 18.
they call moccasin, 17 is a par 3 they call the rattler, and then 18 is the copperhead.
Oh, really?
So it's the snake pit for the 3 holes. You know,
I love that.
At the National, at the Honda, they have, what is it called, the bear trap, you know, with those holes around the water. This one they call the snake pit. But it is 3 of the most brutal finishing holes in golf. Very tough tee shot on 16 because you got water all the way down the right for a right-hander. Left-hander, it's not too bad, but 17 and 18, they are so tough, those holes. And the way Taylor Moore finished, I mean, you told me a stat earlier. What did he make? 64
of 64 putts inside 7 feet for the week.
That is crazy. And that's must-make putts towards the end, especially. He one-putted the last 4 greens. And the putt on the last, that 6-footer up the hill to post the clubhouse lead, incredible.
Now, I always talk about this, but you are the only person in the whole world who beat Tiger Woods twice in match play. But I know the story, and there was a couple of must-make putts. So can you please, for your masterclass today, because it's your turn, can you give us something on must-make pressure putts?
I will.
For your top 5?
Absolutely.
All right, that'd be good.
And there is a secret to how you do that. I'll talk about that a little bit later.
All right. So our mate Taylor Moore, he one-putts the last 4 holes as well. So he birdies 15 and 16. On 17, he hit that beautiful bunker shot.
Oh, yeah.
You know when you, as a pro, you've got the short bunker shots on an upslope. You can't really get them to spin if the greens are firm. But there is this perfect distance that's about 40 feet, I reckon, maybe 45 feet, where it's not technically a long bunker shot, which is a little bit harder to hit, but you know you're going to spin it. And I reckon when Taylor got to that one, and it was just a slight upslope, the ball was going to land on an upslope as well. I reckon he could just feel if you hit this correctly, it's going to stop. Yeah. And it stopped perfectly. So he birdied 15, birdied 16, hits that bunker shot and holes another one. And then at 18, hits a drive left, gets it on the front of the green, but it rolls off.
Yep.
He hits a putt. But he ended up with a 5.5-footer. And that 5.5-footer, he looked so confident. The stroke was so perfect.
Yep.
And I really want you to tell us a little bit later.
I will.
About how to do that sort of stuff, because it was so impressive. To my eye, I sat back and I was just, salivating at how courageous this kid is, because you win one, you're into the Masters.
The Masters, that's right.
That's in your back pocket. I mean, I know this is me, right? This is me. This is why I never won a tournament probably. But I would have been thinking about winning this thing 9 holes to go. I would have been thinking about, my winning speech. I would have been thinking about the money. I would have been thinking about who I'm going to help with a little bit with the cash.
The car you're going to win?
The car I'm going to buy. But I would have been thinking about the Masters as well, and that would have been on top of the list. But to be able to just
separate
that, to me, I think is one of the great arts of high-level professional golf.
Oh, I totally agree. And there is a skill, and you almost have to learn to do it. I mean, I did the same thing when I had a 3-foot putt to win the Australian PGA. I was thinking about my victory speech. I forgot about hitting it in dead centre. I was thinking, what am I going to say after this round? But anyway, luckily, in the next playoff hole, I thought about trying to hold the putt rather than about the speech and went on to win, which was great. But Adam Schenk, it shows the vagaries of golf as well, because Taylor Moore hits his drive left on 18, gets a nice lie. Schenk hits it over there. It's hard to say Schenk without saying Schenk. Schenk hits it left, and he gets up against the tree, and all of a sudden has to play a left-handed shot.
How good was his left-handed swing?
Did you see how
good?
Disappointed he was when he got to the ball? The hands went on the knees, the head went down.
He hit it too good,
and then he hit a great shot, and he gave it a go, which was incredible. But that's actually his 10th tournament in a row, Adam Schenk. 10
weeks in a row.
Yes, because his wife's going to have a baby in about 6 weeks, and he's trying to play as much as he possibly can to get his FedEx Cup ranking up, and he's doing really well, obviously.
Yeah, okay. So. Just quickly, this is a judgment call. His putt hit the flag, but it wasn't middle stump.
It was never going in.
If it hit middle stump, I don't reckon it would have gone in either.
Well, it could have ever hit middle stump, but if the flag was out, for instance, it was never going
Wouldn't
in.
have even mattered. Yeah,
But,
I reckon it would have been rebound. I think it was going that hard.
yeah, I know. But the other thing, a couple of Aussies that did play that event. Good to see Cameron Percy play well, finishing a tie for 16th. Just very solid. And this golf
He
course,
always plays well these obscure kind of finishes where you don't even see him for the week, and then you check the leaderboard and there's Cameron Percy at 16th. That's what he does.
well, he's a very good ball stroke in this golf course. If the winning score 10 under, and on the PGA Tour that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
You have to strike the ball really well. The other one to make the cut from the Aussies was Harrison Endicott, but he was well down the list. But hats off to Taylor Moore. He's going to Augusta.
Yeah, good on him. Let's talk about Liv, because I thought there was going to be a huge headline. Check the scores on Sunday night and have a look. I hadn't been following it. Mark Leishman at the top of the leaderboard with a 2-shot lead. I'm thinking, here we go, Leish. You're going to pocket an extra $4 million here, and if your team goes all right, even more.
Maybe he was thinking how you do normally, and he went tumbling down the leaderboard, unfortunately.
What lawnmower he's going to buy next with the $4 million? There was so much action at the PGA Tour event, so once it finished, I thought, Mark Leishman, let's check. 77.
Yeah, it was a shocker.
77.
Yeah, he was over the card early, and it just never looked good for him.
Wasn't that unbelievable? Look, I put down here all the some of the finishes, and there's a lot. They were battling, weren't they? I mean, as far as a tournament goes, that they really want.
The big names.
Big names going well. Dustin Johnson tied 13. Patrick Reed tied 18. Cameron Smith tied 24. Brooks Koepka tied 24. Phil Mickelson tied 30. Bryson DeChambeau tied 44. Now, this is just a 48-man field. They couldn't have had a worse week, really, for stars that they need at the top. And so this is the one thing about Liv. I couldn't change the channel of the PGA Tour because of all the different things that were going on. First-time winners.
The storylines, yeah.
Spieth, can he win again? Watching this Schenk guy with a shocking name try to, there was a stack happening. Tommy Fleetwood trying to win for the first time. He's going to win soon, by the way. He's swinging so good it's not funny.
Win for the first time in the US. This is a big bug about the European golfers over there. They've won plenty of times over in Europe, and that.
He's won 7
international
victories.
I just want to, sort of shout out to my European followers if all 2 of them.
No. I get it.
Yeah.
But he's he's putting as well as I've ever seen. Just quickly had a look at the stats. Again, the PGA Tour app is just brilliant for this sort of stuff. You'd reckon at that golf course, I would reckon anyway, that basically the best hitters are going to win. And when you look at the tee to green stat, yes, Taylor Moore, number 2 for the week. But what was really easy for me to look at and say, wow, I wasn't expecting that, was what they call the getting up and down stat.
The scrambling.
The scrambling, the top 5 players were basically 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5 at that tournament that week.
Yep.
Because of the surrounds, I guess, because of the bunkers and everything else.
From tee to green,
Yeah, so,
sure.
it just shows you, if you want to be a tournament winner on a PGA Tour, not only do you have to hit the ball like a god, you better be scrambling. Otherwise, you are going to be left for dead.
Yep.
Left for dead. Forget about it. And when I looked at it, it's only 24 of 36. So it's only like 66%, 70%.
Yep.
But that's still, if you get up and down 70% of the time on that PGA Tour at a course like Copperhead, then you're going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5
up there,
for scrambling. So
that's one of the most important stats, I think, each week is those scrambling stats. But getting back to the unfortunate demise of Mark Leishman on the Live Golf event, there was a 3-way playoff between... Who was it? It was Danny Lee. Danny Lee won over Carlos Ortiz and Brendan Steele.
Yeah.
So one thing I was fascinated, because I was keeping an eye on the scores and I was waiting for this to happen because I was watching, hang on, Carlos Ortiz. He's like 7 under right now. He's going to finish on the 14th hole. What happens if he wins and he's out on 14 and everyone's waiting on 18? That's one of the things about Live, which I don't know how they can tweak that so... Shotgun starts, that's the issue,
They
isn't it,
can't
in that
tweak
regard?
that.
Yeah,
they can't
but,
tweak that. So that's the thing. Someone like, a DJ, if he is, say, 7 shots behind, and 7 shots behind is makeable if you can shoot a 9 under,
Yeah,
say,
sure. Or
and
if you
put some pressure on.
Micheluzzi.
Yeah, if you can do a Micheluzzi. If Brooks is hitting off 13 and finishing on 12,
We've got an issue.
You've got a really big issue. So
yeah.
I don't know what they do. I've been to some shotgun starts where what they do, and I think they should adopt this in live. This is my idea.
Right, okay.
So you don't have players start on every hole.
Well, that's what they are doing there. As in they're starting people, multiple groups off one.
Off one, are they?
They do that.
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
They do 2 or 3 groups off one. And then
they need 4 or 5.
Yeah.
They need 4 or 5. And then that
so
way.
it's not technically a shotgun start.
Yeah.
It is, but it isn't.
Yeah. But that way you've got no one on 18, 17, 16, 15, 14. And that way,
Okay.
hopefully, we've got some storyline for the grandstands.
Yes.
You've got to have that.
No, I totally agree. Anyway, credit to Danny Lee, $4 million going into his bank account for the New Zealander. So well done.
Ernie Els, can I just say well done? I watched a little bit of the Champions tournament.
Yeah, it's his 3rd win, I think, on the Champions.
Yes, that's right. Missed a little one on 15, hold a long one on 16, then hold another long one on 18. So got it back. Well done. It's fun watching sometimes when Freddie Couples is playing.
Oh, yeah.
I just can't take my eyes off that golf swing.
Freddie's brilliant.
It is so good to watch.
And he was also in the news for a couple of other things as well this past week. I don't know if you saw him where he was saying...
He's a good tweeter.
Yeah, he's a great tweeter. I think he did some sort of a talk for someone and he said...
Breakfast.
One of the things he said, this was quite good actually, giving Phil Mickelson $200 million at age 52 to shoot 74, 75. God bless you. I like that. And then he did say, well, and then there's these other clowns like Sergio, just go to live and stop blasting something I've been a part of for 42 years. So that's going to be an interesting Masters dinner coming up because they're all going to be there.
Oh, that's right.
Sitting around the table at the Masters.
That's right.
So
Freddie.
Who are they going to sit between
Sergio,
Mickelson? Yeah, it'll be
Scheffler. They'll all be there.
Bubba. He's another one. Schwartzel. Yeah, there is a
Schwartzel.
few guys. So it'll be an interesting dinner.
I reckon, you know what? I reckon that there's something like that. Nothing gets said. I reckon you'd sit Sergio next to Fred and they'd shake hands. They'd have a great day. They'd eat whatever Scotty's got. What's he got? Has he got fish tacos or something going on?
Yeah, no, he's got
something crazy.
It's a Texas meal. It was out on social media the other day. I'll have to.
I know it's a cookie for dessert.
Have to look it up. Yeah,
some kind of cookie.
It was like a warm white chocolate cookie. Yeah, something.
Whatever
like
happened
that.
to creme brulee for a dessert, mate? The greatest dessert in the history of the world.
A cookie for dessert.
They've got a cookie for dessert.
But on that Champions Tour thing, Bernard Langer, he was trying to get his 46th win, which would have been the most wins amongst anyone on the seniors tour. He's tied with Hale Irwin at the moment, and I know we spoke about this a little bit earlier on the putting green when we were just hitting a few putts. The anchoring, it's a bit of an issue.
Well, he's in my view, he's cheating, and he's not getting picked up. Now, I don't think that's Bernard Langer's fault. I think that's the Champion Tour's fault. You've got to actually ping somebody. Scotty McCarron was doing it too. He had a good last round, and I watched his last putt. There is no doubt in the whole world that these guys are doing the wrong thing. And you looked something up for me, didn't you?
I did, because I thought, well, you can anchor your forearm. No, you can't. You can't have any part of your body anchored there because that's what he does. He basically anchors the forearm. The hand looks as though it's away from the chest.
Correct.
But if you watch where the forearm, it's pushing up into the shirt, and you can see it. Now, the way the rule is written, this is the issue. Right here. The way the rule is written is if you don't intend to anchor, then it's not anchoring. So you can say, Bernard, look, we think you're anchoring. Oh, sorry, I might have been, but I didn't intend to.
That's right.
I mean, that's
it's
garbage.
Wrong. So it's absolutely wrong. And, the old saying, don't piss on a monument. Bernard Langer's a monument. I mean, he's a superstar, legendary, Hall of Fame, 2-time Masters champion, Ryder Cup captain at one stage, I'm pretty sure, Ryder Cup star.
Yep.
He's a star. Yep. He's about to win more tournaments than anyone else, and he's shooting his age every second time he plays. He's 64 years old. This first round, 64.
Yeah, 64.
But somebody's got to have enough guts to go, Bernie, you're cheating.
We need to have a chat.
We need to have a chat. We need to have a chat.
Good luck to that rules official to say that to
Bernard,
Bernard, that's for sure.
It's got to happen at some stage.
Well, I mean, and to be honest, the easiest, and look, I used a long putter, so the reason I went to the short putters because I didn't like unanchoring.
Yeah.
The easiest way to solve all this, I think, with the anchoring, the whatever, is to make the putter the shortest club in the bag.
Yeah.
Very simple. And then use it however you want.
Well, you know what? I'm with you. I never wanted to be the shortest club in the bag because I always thought, if you want a long putter and you're going to use it correctly. But see, what I would do.
I'm talking about pros right here.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we're getting into bifurcating the rules, right?
So if you're a handicap player, I think you can anchor. Do you know why? Because if you anchor and your handicap's 15, well, that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
And if you don't anchor and your handicap might go out to 18, but you still got a handicap. So it actually does not matter for handicap comp. So I think amateurs should be. But as far as pros, I think to make it easy, the putter's the shortest club in the bag.
Yep.
If it's not, you've got to get your putting technique checked out and ticked off. That's it.
Okay.
That's all I would do. So I see some of these really long putters. There was a guy, I don't even know who it was, playing at Copperhead, and he had a really long putter. Now, that might have been half an inch longer than his lob wedge. It might have been. But to my eye, there was nothing wrong with what he was doing.
Right.
So if that's ticked, if your putter is the shortest club in the bag, it's no issue. If it's not, then you just need your technique ticked off.
Yeah.
That's what I would do. Just as long as you look like you're putting and you're not hankering.
Yeah, fair call. But it gets down into this bifurcation of the rules, all that sort of stuff. I mean, we spoke about the rollback of the ball last week and things like. To be honest, for 99% of the people out there, it's not going to make any difference.
Yeah.
And I don't really care if amateurs or whoever uses the ball that we're currently using. It's just one of those things. I think they should have rules for pros, rules for everyone else.
Now listen, we're on the 9th green and we're about to go and get a little sausage roll and a coffee, or you'll probably have another glass of wine the way you're going.
I didn't bring one today, unfortunately. I should have next week.
The way you're going.
Might have a Pinot next week.
Just on the ball.
Go on.
I've got a little bit of news from the LPGA and what they are talking about.
Okay.
So I'll read out what they are saying on the 10th tee.
Love it.
You're listening to the Talk Birdie to Me podcast with Nick O'Hearn and Mark Allen. If you're enjoying the pod, share it with a friend and help spread the word.
Right, just before you get your driver out and smash one down the 10th here, did you see that snake that Mark Leishman walked past in the live event?
Oh, no. I saw a picture of it. Unbelievable.
Mate, it was like an African anaconda or something. You see how big the thing was? It might have swallowed a dog. It was that big.
So this was the golf course where I played the match play at when I beat Tiger, by the way. I never saw any snakes out there,
which time?
luckily.
Which time? Which time was it, Nick?
Sorry, it was the second, yeah.
It's enormous, though, wasn't it?
Oh, incredible.
That would scare. I walked at Kingston 8th. We had a blue tongue the other day. That scared hell out of me. It's just a little blue tongue lizard. Imagine walking past that thing. That thing should be in a zoo.
You're scared of a blue tongue lizard?
I was very scared. Yes,
Wow.
It gave me a fright.
God.
It just gave me a fright.
They need a local rule if it curls up around your ball too, I reckon. So
Yeah, that's right. Like a kangaroo sort of thing.
maybe.
That's what we should be doing. Now, I mentioned before we had a little party pie at the halfway house about the LPGA and their thoughts on the ball because it's big news. I mean, the ball.
This is news to me. So.
Last week, I reckon I was called to do talks on 4 radio stations around the country about the ball. It is a very big deal. People want to know what's going on. Now, the LPGA, it's a different story because the LPGA, they just don't hit the ball as far. Sorry, girls, but that is a fact. You hit the ball beautifully and you swing unbelievable, but you just don't.
Well, it's like us. We don't hit the ball very far either.
That's
so.
right. That's right. You hit it past us, which is fine. Anyway, but I was really interested to see what they'd have to say about whether the LPGA is appreciative of the leadership and the stewardship of the USGA and the RNA on a variety of topics, including distance. So it's just nice little, just buttering everybody up there. Nice little precursor.
There we go.
At this time, we do not see distance as a hindrance towards the growth of the LPGA Tour or to the courses on which we can compete. We intend to explore and examine this proposal during the comment period and beyond from all angles. As always, we will act in accordance with what is best for our players, our partners, our tour, our fans, and the women's game overall. We are committed to ensuring the golf course is an equitable place for everybody, and our focus will be on helping grow the women's game and providing equal opportunities for girls, women of all ages. That's a no. We're not moving as far as I'm concerned.
Well, when they brought the announcement out, first things first, it's 2026 is when it may or may not happen. Yeah. Secondly, it's going to be a local rule. So you get the choice.
Yeah.
So the PGA Tour may turn around and say no as well. That's not going to happen, I don't think, because they're in cahoots with the USGA and the RNA and all that, and they all want to play in the same spirit of the game. But for every elite competition, they're talking elite golfers, wherever you are in the world, if your club goes, it's a local rule, no, we're not going to do it. Oh, yes, we will do it. It's really up to the individual.
I wonder if some clubs will do it in club championships versus the Wednesday Stableford event. Because you know this, and look, the only time I ever experienced it was when we played in Colorado every once in a while in college golf, and the ball would literally, my 8-iron used to go 150 yards. In Colorado, it went 165 yards.
Yep.
It was a very big difference. So changing from one tournament to the next, so let's say the majors, they just said, hey, we're using the small ball. We'll just call it the small ball on Talk Birdie to me just for the sake of it, all right?
Yep.
We're using the small ball in the majors, guys. Get used to it. It'd be a pretty big adjustment, wouldn't it, when you're playing for a major if you've been using the other thing for a while and then all of a sudden you're playing on rock-hard greens, precision's required with the irons, wind. It's a new ball. You don't know exactly. I mean, it's a big change.
It would be, but remember, many years ago, there was a small ball and a larger ball, and players used to adapt to both as they go along. And that's the thing about tour pros is, guess what? They're the best at adapting whatever is in front of them. And now I think it's a bit of a storm in a teacup, to be honest. Remember when the groove change came in, when they had the new rules on that? Everyone was saying, oh, this is going to be terrible. It's huge fuss. Yeah. No one even thought about it about a week or two after it came out.
That is absolutely correct. It is time for feedback to the editor. Rightio. Now, there's been a few very sarcastic people giving their feedback this week. Now, this is all on the comment that we made last week that Scheffler is a lock to win a major. Gary Smith. I've got to say this in a sarcastic voice, so just bear with me. Such a bold statement about the number one player in the world who has a win rate recently of 1 in 3 events with a laughing emoji. It's actually fair enough, Gaz.
That's a good call.
That's actually fair enough. Wayne Duggan, whoever putts the best wins. No, I'm not sure about that. Not sure.
Well, the Masters, I mean, if Bubba Watson can win the Masters, then you don't need to putt that well because he's not the greatest putter out there. I like this one from Daniel Fox, though.
Yeah, go on.
Nope. 4 winners this year all come from Live Golf. Oh, that will be too sweet.
What would happen to the world if 4 live golfers won the 4 majors? It would turn. Well, it would be the biggest story in sport. Don't worry about golf. If 4 live golfers win the 4 majors, can't see it happening, it'd be the biggest story in sport.
Totally agree. But
by a million miles.
They're going to need to find some form because at the moment they're not in great form.
Anthony Bliss is on our side. If you don't win a major, I'll be very surprised. Hugh McMillan, good chance, yes. Lock, no. Yeah, that's fair enough. Just a good chance. Scott Burwell. Sorry, Scotty. No such thing as a sure thing. And Rob Creedy. Jordan looking ominous. Do not count out Jason Day either. Agree with both.
Absolutely. Jordan at Augusta, he's always a threat, and the way Jason's been playing of late, just very impressive. Also, by the way, there's more feedback. We had a poll result because we tweeted out apparently last week's pod, because I was up at Cathedral, I murdered a couple of glasses of Chardonnay. Now, I didn't murder them. I said, I coaxed them down convincing. You were in a vigorous agreement that Chardonnay was the right choice. Yeah, and we sent a poll out. Love a Chardonnay. Sav is better. I'd have gone a red, make mine a beer.
Who won?
The winner was I'd have gone a red. And typically I do go a red, but I just felt like a Chardonnay because it was pretty warm up in Cathedral. Oh, it was something like, let me see.
23% Chardonnay.
33% for gone a red, 23 for Chardonnay. Next was...
Make mine a beer was 30%.
Sorry, make mine a beer was 30%, so a beer almost won.
Yeah, right.
No, the Sav not doing too well.
No, whatever you're drinking, it definitely looked good. Hey, last week you told me you doubled the last to shoot 73 at Cathedral.
I did.
How's your wrist? Are you playing okay? Is it getting better?
Well, I played 4 days up in a row. And
4 days in a row?
Up in a row there, yeah. And it was steady. I shot 2 couple unders, and a level par, and 73 was my worst, which was that day. Which was why
4 days in a row for? What's going on?
Was out. Well, we just decided to have a break up that way. It was a lot of fun. Now, speaking of playing, you've got Box Hill Pro-Am this week, is that right?
I've got Box Hill Pro-Am on Thursday.
Yeah.
I'm going to shoot 64 and win by mine.
Good. Like it.
And are you playing at Ainsbury?
I am. I'm playing the Ainsbury Pro-Am this weekend.
God, how many clubs are you going to take down? 14? Or are you going to take your normal 8 or 9?
If there's a buggy available, I'll use all of them. Otherwise, I'll just use 8 or 9 in a carry bag.
Are you 50 yet? No.
I'm 51.
Hey, yeah, you can get a buggy, dude. Yeah, you're a buggy man.
No, a push buggy.
All right, it's time for the top 5.
Clutch putts. The most memorable clutch putts of all time. The top 5.
Oh, yeah.
It's debatable, but this is what I have come up with.
Number
5.
There better be one bloke
I
I'm
know.
thinking of.
Well, of course.
With the silhouette that
It's gotta be.
Anyway, you go.
Let me go.
I'll let you go.
Let me go. Okay, number 5. 2014, the Miracle at Medina, Martin Keimer, holding an 8-foot putt on the last green with his team watching. Now, team events, you feel the pressure. Individual, you obviously feel the pressure, but team events, you feel it even more.
Were
that
they
was one of the
4
best.
or 5 down to start the day?
The Miracle at Medina, they were 10-6 down to start the day. They were actually 10-4 down the night before, and they won the last 2 points to get to 10-6.
Well done, Martin
And then
Keimer.
all of a sudden, Europe came back to win, and it
That's
was all
your number
decided.
5.
That's number 5. That was a clutch putt. There's some
Wow,
good ones in
righto.
here, and
Okay.
again, it's all up for conjecture. Going back a fair way, I just can't escape this one. Sebi Ballesteros, 1984, the Old Course St Andrews, 18th green, and that silhouette. There's another silhouette, by the way, of him, the fist pump, and he was saluting the crowd like a matador at a bullfight. It was just one of the most amazing scenes I have seen in golf.
The happiest putt ever hit.
You'd have to say so.
It was.
Yeah, it was a classic. It was a classic. Have to get an Aussie in here, by the way.
Oh, good.
Adam Scott.
2013.
2013, Masters, second playoff hole.
Good work.
Stevie Williams saying, no, it breaks more. It's a cup outside. It breaks more. And luckily, Scotty listened to him and drained that putt to beat Angel Cabrera in the playoff.
Were you here or over there?
I was over there in the US flying back from, and I was actually playing a Corn Ferry Tour event that week. Yeah.
I watched it in a garage across the road on Washington Road out the front. But back here, that was one of the biggest things that happened in sport.
Oh, it was incredible.
It was huge.
It was incredible. And that's number 3. So imagine what the first 2 are going to be. You've got to think about this. I don't think you'll get this next one.
Surely one's Mark Allen.
No.
To make the cut on the number.
To make a cut at the Box Hill Pro-Am. Come on.
No, we're going back to 1999. The US Open, Payne Stewart.
Oh!
Payne Stewart.
There's a statue of him.
There's a statue of him at Pinehurst.
Pinehurst.
Number 2 course. That 15-footer up the hill to defeat Phil Mickelson. And the famous, shot of him holding Phil Mickelson's face in his hand saying, you're going to be a father. It was just one of the most amazing putts I've seen. And we're actually close friends with Payne's widow, Tracy, who was an Australian. She's an Aussie lady.
Married
lovely lady.
Mike
Ferguson.
Mike Ferguson's sister.
There you go. She was down here recently too.
Was she?
Tracy, it was good to catch up with her.
I actually saw Mike Ferguson a month ago. He's going well. He's doing really. He hasn't aged a bit, Mike Ferguson.
Just
God,
incredible.
what a swing he had. I used to love his golf swing.
But Payne Stewart, may he rest in peace. That was one of the most amazing putts of all time. And of course, number 1, it cannot be anyone other than Tiger Woods. Now,
can I guess?
I'm going to give you 2, and the second one
you're going to give me 2.
Well,
there's 2 number 1s.
Well, no, this really isn't even in the top 5, but it's one of the most, I think, underrated putts. We were talking about those clutch 5, 6 footers earlier. 2000, Bob May had to make the 5-footer to get in the playoff. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
That was an amazing putt that he hit at Valhalla. Yeah. Anyway, that's not my number 1. No. Obviously, it's 2008 US Open, Torrey Pines, to hole a putt from 12 feet on that green.
Bumpy.
They were like broccoli. They were like broccoli,
bumpy,
those greens.
greens,
late on a Sunday, the sun setting.
Downhill.
For him to get his 3rd shot onto that 18th green at Torrey Pines, to actually have a look at it, because he was in the right rough, remember? Yeah. It was just incredible and one of the greatest clutch putts of all time. Then he went on the next day to defeat Rocco Mediate in extra hole. They had an 18-hole playoff, and then they had to go extras again.
So they actually played 91 holes.
Something like that.
90 holes wasn't enough. 91 holes, and he did that with a broken leg. Yeah. I have doubts whether that leg was broken.
Well, it was. Retief Goosen does too, because he made a comment earlier in the week.
You can't win a US Open with a broken leg.
It was crazy.
By the way, how about Rocco Mediate turning up in the playoff with a black pants and a red shirt? I reckon
yes.
that's one of the biggest stuff yous. That's one of the biggest.
Well, do you think
what
he
do you
thought,
call
well,
it?
maybe Tiger, he's already used his red shirt. He's not going to use it again.
Yeah.
But you knew he was going to.
Yeah.
I knew I never would wear a red shirt whenever I played with Tiger just because I didn't want to piss him off. So. Anyway, and which kind of leads us on to our masterclass.
Okay, well, let's get going.
Yeah.
Right, hey, just before you do your masterclass, I've got this little tweet from Vito. Good on you, Vito. Thanks for listening. Boys, I've been told to do the same by my coach. This is after last week's masterclass
right.
when I was telling people to put the right arm close. I'm a left-hander, so left arm. It works. One question, does it restrict the length of your backswing? P.S. Great podcast. With another bloke, the Ox. I wasn't supposed to read that. I think it does. When I try and keep my right arm close to my chest in the follow-through, it actually makes me keep my right arm close to my chest or rib cage on the backswing as well. So, Vito, I think it does. I think it does make you swing a little shorter. Anyway, that's enough of that.
No, it was a great tip
masterclass.
last week on Scotty Scheffler and his golf swing. But this week, it's all
is
about
big.
putting.
Oh, clutch
it's
putting.
about putting.
Clutch putting.
Making putts when you have to. And we saw it. Obviously, Micheluzzi making his putts to win the New South Wales Open. Taylor Moore, that putt on the last to win. And obviously the top 5 we just did, which was the must-make putts, the best of all time. But how do you do it? Well, put quite simply, must-make putts is all about the mental side of the game, because most people, when they get over those must-make putts, they think, I have to make it. I must make it. And that creates tension, and then your rhythm suffers. If you ever watch someone who's putting these short ones and they don't put a good stroke on it, it's all because the backswing and the follow-through have very poor rhythm. Usually it's a slow backswing and a fast follow-through, or sometimes you go fast on the way back, slow on the way through. I saw Jordan Spieth do that a little bit, obviously on the weekend at Valspar. He actually looks at the hole sometimes on those short putts too, which is quite interesting.
Just before you go any further, I saw Doug Barron actually do the other one where it was really accelerating too much and pushed it way right to get into a playoff with anything else.
Yeah, so the way to get good rhythm on the way back, and this is where golf is quite a mental game, obviously, because the ball is stationary, it's not moving, is you must react to the putt. So you're trying to react to the hole, and the best way to do that is to, whenever you have your last look up at the hole, as you bring your eyes back to the ball, start the stroke immediately. If you pause when you come back to the ball, that's when the thoughts start, that's when the demons come, and that's when the rhythm suffers. So after your last look at the hole, as your eyes come back to the ball, start the stroke immediately. That will promote great rhythm back and through, and I guarantee you're going to hole a lot more putts.
I love the sound of that. Just make it all about your brain. Mental.
Very much so.
Very good. You're a star. Good on you, Nick. Good to see you again. Great fun talking golf with you every single week.
And you, Mark. Can't wait for next week.
Oh boy, now that is what we call a big week in golf. And we'll keep trying to get a hold of David Micheluzzi. It's been a great week for him. And Nick and Mark are determined to get him on the phone and have a chat to him. If you can help us out, we'd love it. Click on subscribe wherever you get your podcasts and share it with a friend. Every share means it's a lot less likely that Nick and Mark will need to start OnlyFans, because nobody needs to see that. We're back next week, live from the Australian Golf Centre, home of the PGA of Australia and Golf Australia. Talk Birdie to Me's executive producer is Dan Bradley of Kaizen Media. Sound design by Daryl Misson of loudzebra.com.
Hey, Marco, do you want to actually give Mika a ring? I might be able to get him on.
I've pestered him already. I've called him twice and I've sent a long text message telling him that we've got the best golf podcast in Australia. I've done it all. I don't know what to do.
Right. Well, we'll get him on later this week. It's all good.
Do you reckon?
Let's hope.
Let's hope he's,